I thought they did start the process weeks ago, but I've sort of lost track, to be honest. My panel are here with him in the studio: Telegraph columnist Madeline Grant, commentator and comedian Steve N. Allen, and broadcaster and author Laura Dodsworth. Very good evening to all of you. I'm terribly sorry that Rwanda seems to be back on the agenda. I was hoping for something a bit more interesting, but anyway, it's a long night, they say. They're going to be sitting there making all sorts of little amendments and convincing themselves that people care out in the rest of the country. I don't really want to talk about it at all. That's all I can say. But we kind of have to. No ifs or buts, apparently, is the new "I'll stop the boats," isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the statement that the PM gave this morning was kind of extraordinary because he was trying to almost spin it as, like, a good thing that it's been delayed a little bit because it gives them time to get it absolutely watertight and robust. But obviously the whole affair just kind of screams weakness and the sense of impotence, not being able to get things done, and whether or not that's because of Labour peers and crossbench peers or anything else, it still exudes that sense of weakness, which is not exactly inspiring to the electorate.
Because it seems as though Rishi Sunak's got the idea that this will be his kind of, his legacy, See, I did finally get some flights to Rwanda, but in fact it could end up being the death knell of the Conservative government because it will be proof positive that they couldn't actually get it done.
Yeah. Well, I think sense of impotence was a really good way of putting it because the sense of impotence runs a lot deeper than getting these flights off the ground. The fact is that we've had, coming up for 5,000 illegal immigrants come over in small boats this year.
Yeah.
And that is nearly 25% more than this time last year.
Yeah.
So the Rwanda scheme isn't some ends in itself. It's a means to deter illegal immigration and to control the boats and illegal immigration. So we're not talking about the bigger picture, which is the fact that the boats are still coming.
Yeah.
The Rwanda scheme is just one deterrent to stop the boats coming. The boats are still coming.
But it'll never end up being a deterrent. Like, best case scenario, this won't deter. It will. If you can try and focus on it just as one issue, you can pretend it's a bit of a win.
Right.
But the bigger picture, as you say, it isn't just about whether flights take off. I'm sure they will, but they'll be empty. I mean, we've spent such a huge amount of money on this for effectively nothing.
Right.
Then a few weeks ago, there was a plan to roll out this scheme to other countries. What, to just give £200 million to other countries and achieve nothing? Is that replacing
There was a whole host of
relief
people, apparently worse than that, and I said this, and I think you told me that I should have expected this to happen, that the coronation, all these countries are being sort of tapped up by various members of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office to say, by the way, would you mind taking a few migrants while you're here at the tea and cake reception?
200 million.
Yeah.
You've got to look at the odds. Like, if you're thinking, will it deter someone from getting on a small boat? Well, not if the odds of you being sent there are so small. Like, just as a context, the pill is only 99% effective, but we still plough on with that, don't we? Apparently
so. It's an interesting, dichotomy, that one. But, I mean, if you want a real deterrent, when you land on the shores of Britain illegally, you get put in prison, and we don't let you out. That's a deterrent. Then they'll stop coming.
Mike, just not that long ago, think about the high-profile case of Abdul Azedi.
Yes.
So he was here illegally, and then he sexually assaulted and indecently exposed himself and wasn't put in prison or deported.
Right.
Then he supposedly converted to Christianity and went on to douse a woman in alkaline and pick up her toddler and smash this little girl repeatedly on the pavement in an effort to kill the child. Still not deported. So there's stopping boats and illegal immigrants, and then it's what happens when they're here. The whole system is rotten.
Yeah.
You know, the average British voter is appalled with the lack of controls on illegal immigration, the poor performance of the economy and the NHS. You know, the whole situation.
They don't look very busy in the House of Commons. Look at the benches, they're all empty. Even they've lost interest in it. Sorry to interrupt you there for a second, but there's hardly anybody there.
That's OK, rant over.
I mean, there was another couple of cases this week, last week, was there not, of people convicted of serious sexual offences, rape in particular, who can't be deported because they might be punished in their home country. It's bonkers.
We don't care about that. The truth is, do we care? I'm sorry, I don't. If someone has sexually assaulted a woman, the safety of women in this country, our own population, should matter more than their mental health or the prison they go to. They're deported back to their home country because they should have abided by the law and not endangered the lives of people here.
Yeah, or in Azedi's case, he was attacking his own family. So it's people who have come here, presumably with him, that he's attacked.
But what I find... I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, just quickly on that one, that was because there was some religious expert vouching for it. We need to get the religion out of course. Of course, Christianity should be forgiving. That's what it does. You want your legal system to not pay attention to that. Someone will vouch for you from the church. That's what they do.
It's a nonsensical legal position to say you can't deport somebody back to the country they came from because they might be punished.
But at the same time, the Rwanda Bill lets Rwanda send back anyone who's a criminal. So this is not just a bad system. It filters criminal asylum seekers to keep them here and send the rest elsewhere. Best case scenario.
Yeah, bonkers. Just bonkers. The vote continues. I mean, we'll keep an eye on it, of course. But, I mean, as we've said, it won't really make that much difference, will it? I mean, has the House of Lords also been shown up to be a bit spiteful in this particular instance? Because we've now had probably too long that it's gone backwards and forwards. And we know about the ping-pong thing. But, I mean, it was meant to be finished and done by, I think, about over a week ago, wasn't it?
Well, actually, that was partly the government could have pushed it through faster if they had insisted on late sitting times, really making people sit through until the early hours of the morning.
So they say they're doing that now.
And doing it over Easter, but they didn't do that for whatever reason. So I think they do partly bear the responsibility for this.
Yeah. But, I mean, the House of Lords has twice inserted exactly the same amendments after they were taken out. It just seems like... I don't mind having a system that slows down legislation and has it properly... debated and considered. But this just seems to be the House of Lords being bloody awkward.
It's disrespectful to the will of the British people.
Yeah.
This isn't some fringe issue. This is a big concern to the majority of British voters. It's coming up time and time again in polls.